Hi, this is Todd Creager. I'm talking to you about a couple today that was very successful. I've been talking a lot about divorce proofing your marriage. How to, what does it take to divorce proof your marriage? In other words, even though it's never guarantees, how to make it such that it's difficult for couples to divorce because there's too much positive. There's just too much positive. And, in every relationship, there are challenges and there are conflicts, and there are emotional triggers. This one particular couple had that, and they bickered a lot. They would just bicker. So they would bicker. One person would felt hurt or wronged by the other, and would say, this isn't okay what you did, and the other person would get defensive. And this is what couples do a lot, right? They just defend themselves. There is a part of the brain called the amygdala, and the amygdala is good for keeping us safe by noticing threats. And I oftentimes say that there's an amygdala hijacking with couples a lot. I mean, our partner can probably trigger us better than any. And in this particular couple, both of their amygdalas were hijacked. Now, what's interesting about the amygdala hijacking, meaning that that part of the brain takes over and there's no ability to tune into the other person, to empathize. There's definitely no ability to see our blind spots. It makes us more kind of self-righteous that I'm right and you're wrong. And it's very difficult to see each person's part in the problem or possibly what they missed. So you have this couple that's constantly bickering because they both were feeling like I'm a victim here, you're not treating me well, and missing what the other person was doing. So I do a lot of this, but this particular couple in particular, did I say that right? Couple in particular, that's good English. Um, their fight at the moment when they saw me was about how she felt that her husband didn't set a boundary with his mom regarding treatment of the kids, her grandkids, my client's child, and that he had not set a boundary with his mother, which I definitely think he did not. And even the husband realized that he had challenges with this. But in this particular case, he felt his wife was way off and totally overreacting. Have you ever thought about your partner that you're overreacting? We all have those thoughts. And then why people say you're overreacting is because number one is we don't understand what's going on with the other person. And number two, we're trying to manage our emotions by squelching the reactions or emotions of our partner. That never works, never gets better. In this particular couple, there was no difference than any other couple. Every time he got defensive, even in this particular situation, she just got more emotional, more upset. And she surely wasn't able to see his perspective that he felt like that in this particular time that wasn't a battle worth fighting. So nobody saw the other person's perspective. And so what I did with them in this particular situation and many since is really help them practice developing the emotional muscle to take some breaths and also to buy in that I probably have blind spots. The problem with blind spots is we don't know we have them because if we knew we had them, they wouldn't be a blind spot. So that's always the challenge. So we need to make an assumption about ourselves that there's a blind spot. And this is what they learned from me and they practiced. So what would happen is they'd get into subsequently to that other, what would be squabbles and where they could bicker. But this time, instead of bickering, one of them or both of them would go, okay, wait, maybe I have a blind spot. That interrupted the process right there. And they started to practice the, wait, maybe I have a blind spot statement. And that would open up the door for more self-reflection. It would open up the door for more empathy. And their dialogue started to shift. Even if it started out the same, they were able to recover from it by saying, wait a second, where's there a blind spot that I might have? That was the beginning of it. Because in his case, he had a hard time tuning in to her pain because he was used to his mother and she wasn't okay with some things. She grew up in a very different kind of household. And she, on the other hand, since she didn't grow up in his household, didn't realize that it wasn't so easy for him sometimes to assert himself with his mother, even though that was the direction we were going, that the way she handled it before they began seeing me just brought up his defensiveness. She learned how to communicate in ways that brought out his ability to be her hero. And that definitely made it easier for him to make the difficult changes that he needed to make. So I watched this couple over, through time. And it wasn't that long. It was during the 10 sessions with me that they really started to experience their connection is stronger than any conflict they had. And that was really beautiful. They actually developed a ritual at my suggestion to hold hands no matter what they experienced. If they couldn't do it right then and there, as soon after the bickering, they would hold hands as a way symbolically to say, we're not going to let the amygdala hijack our relationship, the part of our brain that feels threat and needs to take over. That they're able to go, wait a second, maybe in my attempt to protect myself that I have skipped over a blind spot that I have. So this was a wonderful, enjoyable experience. Ultimately, as they started to develop those skills and the emotional muscle, and they're thriving today without a thought of getting divorced. So, see it all the time. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.